What if the greatest love story in the Bridgerton world is the one we have barely seen? Before the diamonds, before the scandals, before the chaotic Bridgerton siblings took over the ton, there was just two young people who fell deeply in love. Violet and Edmund Bridgerton. The couple whose love built the entire Bridgerton family. Every romance we enjoy today exists because of them. But here's the shocking part. We have never actually seen their love story on screen. We only hear little memories, small emotional moments, and sweet stories from Violet. And honestly, those tiny hints make their relationship feel even more magical. So today we are putting all the puzzle pieces together to imagine the love story that started it all, long before the Bridgerton family became the most talked about household in London society. There was a young woman named Violet who had no idea her future would become legendary. At that time, she was simply a girl entering society for the first time, surrounded by the pressure of the Regency marriage market, balls, gossip, family expectations, and the constant competition between young debutantes filled her world. Finding a good match was important, but finding true love was almost impossible. Most marriages in that era were built on status, money, or family connections. Love was often just a bonus, not the goal. But somehow, Violet Bridgerton managed to find something far more rare. She found a soulmate. That soulmate was Edmund Bridgerton, a young man who would eventually become the Viscount in the heart of one of the most beloved families in the ton. From everything we know, Edmund was kind, loyal, charming, and deeply devoted to Violet. Their relationship was not just a polite marriage arranged by families. It was something much deeper. It was real love. The kind of love that changes everything. In the Bridgerton series, Violet often talks about Edmund with so much warmth that you can feel how powerful their bond was. Even years after his death, she still speaks about him as if he is part of every decision she makes. That alone tells us how special their connection truly was. Their marriage became the emotional foundation of the entire Bridgerton family. The way their children view love. The way they fight for passion instead of settling for convenience. All comes from the example Violet and Edmund created. Think about it for a moment. Anthony's intense desire to protect his family, Daphne's dream of a passionate love match, Colin's romantic nature, and even Eloise's complicated feelings about marriage. All of these personalities were shaped by the loving home Violet and Edmund built together. The Bridgerton siblings grew up watching their parents laugh, support each other, and truly enjoy being together. In a society where many couples barely knew each other, Violet and Edmund showed what a real partnership looked like, and that is exactly why their story matters so much. Their love is not just another romance in the Bridgerton universe. It is the blueprint. It is the original story that influenced every relationship that came after. Without Violet and Edmund, the Bridgerton family we know today would not exist. What makes their story even more interesting is how little we actually know about the beginning of their romance. We know they loved each other deeply. We know their marriage was happy. And we know Edmund's tragic death changed the family forever. But the most exciting part, the moment when they first met and fell in love, is still a mystery. How did Violet feel the first time she saw Edmund? Was it love at first sight, or did their feelings grow slowly over time? Did they meet at a glamorous ball filled with music and dancing? Or was their first meeting something completely unexpected? These are the questions fans have been asking for years. And the truth is, their story has all the ingredients for an unforgettable drama. A young debutante stepping into society. A charming young Viscount learning about responsibility, the pressure of family expectations. The excitement of first love. The beautiful, awkward, emotional moments that happen when two people slowly realize they cannot live without each other. This is not just another Regency romance. This is the beginning of the Bridgerton legacy. And the more fans think about it, the more it feels like the perfect story for the next big Bridgerton spin-off. Because if there is one love story that deserves to be told in full detail, it is the one that started everything. Imagine watching the moment when the Bridgerton love story truly begins. Not with Daphne, not with Anthony, but with the two people who created the entire family legacy. That is exactly why so many fans believe the next big chapter in the Bridgerton universe should focus on Violet and Edmund. Their story is not just another romance. It is the origin of everything we see in the show today. The Bridgerton world has already proven that. Prequels can be incredibly powerful. When the spin-off series Queen Charlotte was released, it surprised many viewers. Instead of simply expanding the universe, it gave fans a deeper emotional connection to characters they already loved. Watching the young Queen Charlotte and King George fall in love added new meaning to the entire Bridgerton story. It showed that sometimes the past can be just as exciting and dramatic as the present, because of that success. Fans immediately started asking the same question. If one prequel worked so well, why not another one? And when people began thinking about which story deserves its own series, one couple quickly stood out above everyone else. Violet and Edmund, their love story feels different from the other romances we see in Bridgerton. Many of the couples in the show begin their relationships with tension, arguments, or misunderstandings. But from everything Violet has shared about Edmund, their connection felt almost magical from the start. She often describes their relationship as joyful, passionate, and deeply supportive. They were not just husband and wife. They were true partners. What makes this even more interesting is how Violet's character has started to evolve in the newer seasons. For a long time, viewers saw her mainly as the caring mother who helps her children find love. But recently, the show has begun hinting that Violet's own heart might not be completely closed. In the newest storyline, we see small signs that she may be ready to experience romance again after many years. One of the most talked about moments is when Violet describes her garden blooming. Again, that simple phrase created a huge reaction among fans. It suggests that after years of grief and loyalty to Edmund's memory, Violet may finally be allowing herself to feel hope again. But that moment also reminds viewers of something important. Before the heartbreak, before the loss, Violet once had an incredible love story, and that is the story people now want to see. A prequel about Violet and Edmund would allow the audience to witness the beginning of the romance that shaped the entire Bridgerton family. Instead of hearing about their relationship through memories and short conversations, fans could finally watch their journey unfold on screen. We could see young Violet entering society for the first time, nervous but excited about the future. We could see Edmund before he became the wise and loving father we hear about in the show. At that time, he would have been a young man still learning how to balance responsibility with his own dreams. Their first meeting alone would be a huge moment for fans. Was it love at first sight? Or did their relationship slowly grow during stolen conversations, quiet walks, and late-night dances at glittering Regency balls? The beauty of their story is that it would combine romance with something deeper, the idea of destiny, because viewers already know how important their love becomes in the future. Every time we see Anthony protecting his siblings, every time Daphne talks about finding true love, every time the Bridgerton family gathers together, we are seeing the result of the home Violet and Edmund created that makes their romance feel even more emotional. The audience would be watching the beginning of a love story while already knowing how meaningful it will become for the next generation. Another reason this prequel would work so well is the emotional contrast it could create. Fans know that Edmund's life ends tragically, which means every happy moment between him and Violet would carry a bittersweet feeling. Their laughter, their first dance, their wedding day, all of these scenes would feel even more powerful because viewers understand how precious their time together truly was. This kind of storytelling is exactly what the Bridgerton universe does best. Romance mixed with deep emotion, beautiful settings, and unforgettable characters. And if Netflix is looking for the next chapter, that could keep the Bridgerton world alive between seasons. A Violet and Edmund prequel might be the perfect choice. Because sometimes the most powerful love stories are not the ones that are just beginning, but the ones that started everything. For a couple that shaped the entire Bridgerton family, it is surprising how little we actually see of Violet and Edmund together. Their love story mostly lives in memories, small conversations, and emotional moments scattered throughout the series. But if you pay close attention, those tiny details start to reveal something beautiful. They show that Violet and Edmund were not just a happy couple. They were completely, deeply in love. One of the sweetest clues about their relationship comes from Violet herself. At one point, she admits something that might surprise many fans. The strong, confident Mama Bridgerton once used to get completely nervous around Edmund. She even said that she struggled to speak properly when he was near. Imagine that for a moment. The wise womb.